Hey guys, welcome back to my second episode of chapter one, right? And today's topic is about neuron, right? So, what is neuron? Neuron is a nerve cell which is very tiny, right? And it helps in sending and receiving signal, right? It has a very simple or small or very important role to play. Is basically communicate between or set communication between the brain and the body, right? So if the brain has to send signal to my body, it is through neurons, and if the body has to send signal to my brain, it is through neuron, right? So this neuron helps us to communicate between the body and the brain, right? So if you look at this image here, what you see is how it's made, right? So this is what the structure look like, right? It has a lot of, I will say, it has dendrite, it has nucleus, it has cell body, it has axon, and everything has some important role to play, which we will not go really in detail as of for now. But what you see here in this image is this is your brain, right, which is your main circuit, right? And this circuit is connected to another extension, and that's your spinal cord, through which all the signaling, cell signaling will happen, right? And how this signal is carried forward is simply by your spinal nerve, right? So you have your brain connected to spinal cord, and spinal cord branching into smaller spinal nerve to help communicate between the brain and the body, and also vice versa, right? Which is your body to the brain. So moving forward into this topic, now what we'll be talking about is the most important, which is motor unit, right? So what is motor unit? Motor unit is simply one motor neuron plus all the fiber it controls, right? So for movements that are small, that are fine, that need precision, you will have less muscle fiber, right? It's like one motor unit with one motor neuron with less fiber to control, right? That way it allows you with precise control over the movement. Examples, if you take about eye movement, example, if you take about playing piano or doing something that needs more control, right? So for small, precise movement, you have small motor units, one motor neuron controlling less number of fibers, right? When it comes to large motor units, what you see is uh, mostly used for movements like power or strength, you will have hundreds of fibers per neuron. It's like one neuron with multiple muscle fibers, right, to control. So this will help you with strong, powerful contractions, especially while you train your large muscle. Examples can be a squat, example can be a deadlift, example can be a leg press, right? It's like think big muscles, more focus, more fiber per unit, right? So what we see here is for precise movement, what we have is one motor neuron, or sorry, one motor unit is equal to one motor neuron plus less fiber to control, right? For large motor units, what you see is one motor neuron plus multiple or many muscle fibers to control, right? Which can be seen in exercises or movements that will not require so much of precision. Examples can be running, walking, or anything, or any kind of squat, deadlift, etc. Right? So what you see here, right? So what you see here in this image is this is your muscle fiber, this is your neuron, which helps communicate from the brain to the body, but then there has to be a connection, and this connection is very important. This connection is called as a neuromuscular junction. This is where all the exchange is going to happen, right? So whatever signal is being sent by the brain is going to be received at the neuromuscular junction, and then uh, uh, the muscle will act according to what the signal is, right? So this is how your control is set, right? And the whole controller is basically your brain, right? And the nervous control will depend on the motor units that are used. So here what you see here in this is your neuromuscular junction, right? A motor. So see, whenever a signal is released, right? So motor neuron releases acetylcholine, ACH at the neuromuscular junction. Okay. Basically, this is how it needs to be understood, right? So whenever a signal is sent from the brain to the body, right? So the signal first will be received at the neuromuscular junction, right? Soon as the signal is received, a chemical is released, also known as acetylcholine, right? And this will help. This will help reach the signal to the muscle fast, right? So this process can also be called as an action potential, right? Where the electrical signal travels along a nerve or the muscle cell to trigger an action like muscle contraction, right? So now signal from the brain to the muscle is received at the neuromuscular junction. Next thing that is to happen is ACH is going to get released, and this will cause action potential, which is immediate, right? Pacing up the transfer of the signal from the junction to the muscle for the necessary action to happen, right? So what will happen? The muscle will either contract or either relax depending on what the signal is, right? So when a muscle contract, it is basically the sarcolemma, which is I also called as the sarcomere, which reduces in length, leading to a contraction. So motor unit is equal to motor neurons plus all the fiber it innervates or control, right? For small precise movement. So going further, you have a nice table, right, to understand things better. So going further, what you see, the term motor neuron, a nerve that tells muscle to move, right? Example, send signal to lift your arm, right? Motor unit is equal to one motor neuron plus all the muscle fiber it controls, right? So control how many fibers to contract at once. So that is how your motor unit or this particular topic is about, right? So now I will try to keep all my lecture series topic wise, so that now you can choose what topic you want to go through anytime and have a better access and understanding over that topic, instead of now watching long video and finding difficult to reach out to the topic that you actually are interested in knowing or maybe learning, right? So that was all for this particular topic. Thank you.